where we are bringing in money plans. And that's because right now, money is something that a lot of people want to make more of. Am I right? Yes or no? Go in the chat. Tell me yes or no. Okay, can you turn down the AC, please? Yes or no? Okay, good. So awesome. So I'm not going to go into what we talked about yesterday around style flexing or around anything that we that's okay, or around anything to do with how to use style flexing to enroll or in your business. You guys who were in VIP yesterday, obviously there was a huge breakthrough yesterday around cash injections and all of that around style flexing. We did send out yesterday's session through email to the people who are in this challenge. There's currently 56,000 people who are watching this challenge right now. Do you guys, that's incredible. I mean, talk about all the incredibly motivated people that are going on right now. This is like, makes me so happy. Okay, so we sent out the VIP session if you are registered for this video, which you are, or for this challenge, which you are, which is 21 minutes a day that we're gonna focus to be able to transform the month of June. So who's having a good time so far? Anybody? Yes? I know, Roxanne, you had a big breakthrough with your husband last night, which is so good. Oh, so good. Okay, so let's jump into it. So if you are not in VIP and you want to be in VIP, we do have my mentor coming to train today. It's really odd when or it's not odd, but it's really rare when you have somebody that can help your marriage and help your finances. And that's who Michael is to me. He's a big reason why I started this company in the first place. Many years ago, I had this vision to help people and coach online. I didn't even know what a coach really was. And I launched it with his leadership coaching and mentorship. Fast forward in my life, I want to get married, have children, devastating background in all of my broken relationships. And Michael helped me put the rails together for my husband and I, and he's helped him significantly become a great husband and for me to become a great wife. So he's going to be training. If you're not in VIP and you want to come, it's $47. I really recommend you do, even if you only came to today's. Okay, so if you guys could drop the link for VIP for anybody on the platforms right now, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, you know, invest in yourself. I'm not getting rich off $47. I wish I was, but I'm not. But I'm going to show you how to get rich next. So let's go VIP. Let's hot seat a couple of you guys. You're going to have to move the Instagram over. But let's jump on. Just raise your hand if you want me to do a plan for you. Go ahead and jump on. Just raise your hand if you want me to do a financial plan for you. Just let's go. Pop up your, let me go here. Okay, Roxanne, let's do you, my darling. Let's have you walk up and we're going to repurpose Instagram so that they can watch you. Can we pop her up, please? Okay, Roxanne, what's going on? Trying to unmute you.
There we go. Got it.
Okay, great. Tell me what's going on with you. What's your question?
Okay, so my question is how to overcome that commitment issue that you talked about with, because I have the plan for the finances. I signed 6 clients and the tracking is meeting 100 people. But then what you talked about with, oh, I don't have time. Oh, this, that, and the other. I fall into that, but I know I'm just feeling really scared to go out and just, I mean, I can meet people and talk to them.
So Ash was talking about this morning. He said one of our clients was saying, my intuition was to, you know, my intuition is telling me to hold back. And my husband was just having a moment of, like, what'd your intuition say when you developed the plan? It told you to jump in. Your fear is telling you to hold back, which is why today with Michael is all about commitment. I mean, I love that this group is so engaged in tracking so well, because when you track things, they grow, but also focusing on the right thing to be able to break through is everything. And so if you're focusing on motivation when really you have a commitment issue, then you can see why it doesn't come together fast enough, right? Yes?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, can I get you to speak up a little bit just so Instagram can hear you as well?
Oh yeah, sorry, I lost my voice.
So okay, so what's coming up for you when it comes to, it sounds like this challenge is working for you. You're going in, you're selling, you're making money, you're tracking, and now you're a little concerned about yourself pulling back. Is that what's happening?
Basically, the idea of switching over to the like the offer part or the letting people know that I'm a life coach part. There's so many people that do know in my life, but meeting a new person and just kind of bringing it up, that's where I get
So
the
here's a great, who else has problems with this? Go in the chat and let us, and just say me. Who else has challenge with this? Go in the chat and say me, so she doesn't feel like she's completely alone.
yes.
Okay, so you're not alone. So
Hey.
what we would call this is a transition line. Do you guys get that? So this is a transition line. You're going from talking to someone to transitioning, which is all leadership. You guys get that? So it's when you're talking to someone, you're leading the conversation. It's no different than talking to someone that's only talking about themselves and you would like to transition off them and talk about a different topic. That's the same with talking to someone and now wanting to transition into making an offer so that they can commit to changing their life. I know a lot of therapists. Who are my therapists? Put a T in the chat if you're a therapist. You know, I know my therapists often come to me and they say to me, Shanda, I want to actually become a coach because in therapy, we keep talking about the problem. And I just want my client, my patient, to just move on to the solution. That's essentially, do you guys see how all of this is the same thing? You have to know how to transition people and lead them to either their best life or to make a decision, make a change. But see, everybody wants to stay comfortable and they don't even know it because it's a blind spot. So they make decisions out of their comfort zone. And because they're doing something, spinning around the drain, they feel like, oh, okay, I'm good with life because I'm doing enough. You're not doing enough if you're not moving forward, right? So something needs to change. So a good transition line, everybody write this down that needs it, is just say, just literally say to them, repeat what it is that you believe they want. So I'm going to pretend with you, Roxanne. I might say, so Roxanne, what I'm hearing you say is that you really want to help more people. You really want to continue your path of success, but there's something in you that's a little bit hesitant or concerned that that you might fall off your goals. You might fall off your motivation. You might fall off the plan. Maybe it's happened in the past. Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
Okay, so all I did was repeat what I heard her say. And the way I transitioned is I just said, what I heard you say was this. Now I got us on the same kind of meeting spot. And then I say, so here's what I know for sure. You're going to need help creating that result. I would like to be that help for you.
Oh, I love that.
That's it. And there's so many variations of that. If I, you know, when you're learning speaking, a lot of times I'll have you tell a story. And the story is just putting everybody back in that same spot. And so you're getting them all to the same point with the story. With a story, a transition line is what is the theme of the story. So at a zone event, how many of you guys would love maybe 4 of my zone events in like the way I pitched? It's my big 3-day event. The way I pitched and the way I did my repitches to study them. How many feel like you would really benefit from that? Put me in the chat,
Yes.
right? Put me in the chat. So because I've never really given them, Okay, so it's smart because you can see the transition line now that I said that to you. And so say there was one that I did where like going pro, it's like being amateur and going pro. And so a transition line would be something like I want to take you from being amateur to going pro. And the way that I do that is with this XYZ program.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you're looking for a transition that fits, but you got to get people in the spot before you transition them.
Got
Okay,
it.
because we talked yesterday about the quadrants, right?
Yeah.
You've got controllers, supporters, you got analyzers. You know, a lot of people know a lot of information, but they don't embody it to make a movement. And
Yeah.
so, you know, you got to get all those quadrants. Promoters are all up there and never finish anything. Controllers are super intense and they bulldoze people. You got to get all these personality traits on the same, you know, batting, you know, plate before you can transition them to first base. Got it?
Yeah.
So
Thank
good.
you.
Okay, rock it out, girl. Awesome, Becky. Hopefully that was helpful, you guys. Becky, let's rock and roll.
Hey, Shanda. I just wanted to say thank you. I have a brick and mortar store and I sell soap and I have boutique clothing, and I got very discouraged because I've tried to do a few live sales for my products on Facebook, and with no buyers. And so I thought, I'm not going to do that anymore. So yesterday I thought, this is part of what my target would be. I need to go ahead and do the sale, even if nobody's there, even if nobody buys anything. So I did it, didn't make a sale, but I felt like it's going to happen someday. I have to just keep pushing forward. And your advice helps me every day to do that. So I just wanted to say
Okay, so remember, it's frequency. So if you did that every day,
yes,
then what's going to happen is you will start to use the frustration to say, okay, what could I have done better? Go back and re-listen to yourself. So I'm going to give you the coaching of go back and re-listen to yourself, because when you watch yourself, you'll go, oh, I was confusing there. Okay, I was confusing there. I can change that right now. I was confusing. Now get right back on. So everybody write this down. In order to go out and make an offer, make money, I would love everybody who wants to take the challenge that today you make money. Raise your hand, put yes in the chat, put yes in the chat. Who wants to just take the challenge? I'm going to make money today. We only got 3 minutes left until we get into our 21-minute daily challenge. Okay. So all you need is a reason to go out to talk to people. Okay. So some of you guys who have done sales in the past, or you've worked with people that have said no in the past, make a list or go look at how many people were that, who were they, and call them today. Just pick up the call and just say, here's one of I love my Christmas campaign. I've taught this a million times to my clients. As in Vancouver, Canada, I printed a list of a bunch of people from my email list and text message list, make your life easier. I printed out a list and I did my Christmas campaign. I first started with hot chocolate and then I moved to wine, and I spoke all day and I just called people and I surveyed them. I said, hey, Becky, it's Shanda Sumter from Heartcore. I don't know if you remember me. We're a business coaching company and leadership coaching company. And then Becky would go, oh yeah, I do. And I'd say, okay, so we're doing a survey. How did your year go so far? So you guys, we're checking in. How was the beginning of your year so far in your area? You could do a Facebook Live, an Instagram Live, a TikTok, whatever. Just checking in our industry. How are you doing with this? How are you doing with your future financial planning? How are you doing with your love life? How are you doing? Let's do a check-in. So do a check-in, do a survey. Once people start answering the survey, now you have people who are engaged. Once you have people who are engaged, they're engaged, they're telling you, pay attention to people's words. I say to my customer service team, I say, listen to what people are really asking you when they're asking questions. Get them out of their head and into their heart so that they can make a movement. What are they really asking you? So you need to just pay attention to, it's a lot of effort and motivation to stay in the grit. But the problem is you have a bad night's sleep and your motivation isn't there. And so then you'll make that about you. So I want you to just focus on every day you're going to go live. You can go live 2 times a day. If you have an email list, send out 3 emails a day. I know that sounds like, oh my God, people are going to get annoyed with me. No, they're not, because the people who open up at 9 a.m. are not the same people who open up at 12 noon. And by the way, I send at 11 p.m. at night. I send at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I don't say I'm sleeping. Why? Because my UK people, my African people, my people in Germany, New Zealand, Australia, they're all like, it's their day. You know what I mean? So it's weird when I'm like, I'm sleeping, and now that's marketing.
Yes.
Right. And so I just want you to give more.
Okay.
So come up with reasons to give. And if you don't know, go to Amazon, look at the reviews around your topic and find complaints that people are complaining about and listen to their words. What are they really asking? And you will have more content than you could imagine. Just take a plain piece of paper and write down some of their words and what they're complaining about, and take one complaint at a time and do videos, do emails, do text, whatever. Okay. Got it?
I got it. Thank you.
All right, my friend. Okay, you guys, we're going to shift and we are going to move to my friend, my coach. Is Michael on? Is he on? Look it up, look it up, look it up. Okay, good. So let me introduce him first and give it justice. So, all right, you guys. So we are going to go 21 minutes. We're going to go 21 minutes. And what we're going to do is we're going to focus on closing the gaps and actually putting yourself in a position where you can follow through, where you can close your gap, where you can commit. We do not have an idea problem in this world. We have a commitment problem. and we break our word constantly to the people that we love the most. Sometimes we justify it. Sometimes we justify why just hold on to that 21 minutes for a second, please. Sometimes we justify why we're not still pursuing something we want. And I'm going to encourage you to not only listen to what Michael says, but I want you to have a piece of paper next to you. And I want you to jot down what it is that you're going to take action on after he speaks. You hear what I'm saying? So don't trust your mind that it's going to remember later, and don't trust your heart that you're going to go take action. I want you to actually write down, I am going to do this. So I want to see I ams. I want to see them all over the chats. So here's what I'm going to do. I don't have my runners on today, but I have $1,000 amazing runners. My husband has them too, and I have them too, because since COVID, we don't wear heels anymore. I mean, my husband never wore heels, but I love seeing him in his Christian Louboutins, right? And so, Louboutins, sorry. I mean, I'm the hole in the, what is it? Like the Italian restaurant, hole in the wall restaurant. That's me, but I still like good things. So I have 2 pairs of these runners. I would like a 3rd pair. My husband has one. They're $1,000 and they make you taller for all my short people. They make you a little taller. They slim out your legs, and guys, they make you look good too. Anyway, my point is, I'm going to look for somebody on all the chats, both Zoom, YouTube, Instagram. I'm going to look for people who are putting I am statements. And what I'm looking for is, I'm looking for your commitments. I am healing my relationship. I am remarrying my ex. I am spending 4 hours a week with my kid. I am, I want to see some big, audacious goals. Not, I am going to take 5 minutes and take care of myself. No, you're in this challenge because you're going after it. And the bigger your goals are, the more urgent you will be. The more comfortable they are, the less likely you're going to hit them. Why? Because you didn't hit them in the past. So why do you think you're going to hit them now? You've got to set big goals. So I want you to write that down. Set big commitments, huge commitments. Set a huge commitment for today. So we're going to look at the chats, and we're looking for the I ams. All right, you guys, let's bring up Michael Strasner. Bring up Michael Strasner.
Hello, hello. Good morning.
Awesome. Michael, thank you. I was saying, I don't know if you were on, but I was saying on the 15-minute pre-work, I was saying it's rare you meet somebody who's mentored you in your marriage, your relationships, and your business. And there's no way Hardcore would be here if you didn't break me through in my leadership. There is no way there's a good chance my marriage would have fallen off the rails if you didn't break my husband through his blind spots. And it was one conversation, 10 minutes of you speaking into him, and boom, he unleashed. So you are not only incredible, but I owe a lot to you. So thank you for being here, pouring into people. I'll give the stage to you.
Thank you, Shanda. Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello. So write this down. Let's go. We got 21 minutes or less. Are you ready? Here's an equation. Results equals no results plus a story. If you are committed to creating results, when I say results, I mean what you want. I don't mean the things that are going to happen anyway, because some things are going to happen anyway. You're going to get up, you're going to take a shower, you're going to get up, you're going to brush your teeth, you're going to put on your clothes, you're going to do things, you're going to manage things. Everybody has to-do lists every day, and that's not going to change. As long as you're an adult and you have responsibilities, you have things to do. But if you're committed to creating results, and when I say results, I mean something that will transform your life and the quality of your life. That could be doubling your business. It could be launching your business. It could be doubling your income. It could be losing or releasing excess weight from your body, transforming your health, transforming your marriage, going from a 5 to a 10, whatever that is. If you're committed to creating results in your life, then the first thing you must do is eradicate the stories, because everybody has a story. And we also have not just a story, but a complex story. In other words, a plan B story. So if plan A isn't good enough, then I can roll out plan B. And what is a story? A story is an excuse to not have what I said I wanted. For example, I really want this relationship, but, and then you proceed to tell the story as to why you don't have it. And you'd love to have it if he was a different person, if she was a different person, if you didn't have this history with him, if you didn't have this history with her. And the thing is, and I've been doing the work I do as a trainer and a coach for 36 years, what I notice is the difference between people that achieve and accomplish and create the extraordinary results that they say they want and people that don't is the ones that don't are addicted to the story that I'm not good enough, the story that I don't matter, the story that I can't trust. Not just that I don't trust, I can't trust. I can't trust because I'm not worthy, because I'm not good enough, because I really want it, but this obstacle or this circumstance is bigger than me. Look, we've all seen extraordinary examples of people in the world that cause results and create results that don't make any sense. Like there's the examples of the people that never got a formal education, yet became extraordinarily successful. I mean, you could use lots of examples. Think about it. Bill Gates never got his college degree. That's amazing if you stop and think about the fact that we were all taught that the way to be successful and how we're going to be successful and what's going to make us successful is we must have an education. Anybody hear that from your parents when you were a child? You will never, ever be successful. You will never make money. You will never have credibility unless you have a college degree. You got to have an education. And yet you don't have to like Bill Gates as a person, but you can't argue that he has not created extraordinary results in his business and financially. Can you imagine having enough money that you could actually contribute 50% of your net wealth every year to charity and then reclaim it the next year based on the profits of the money you made last year? I mean, you contribute $50 billion, but you still have $50 billion working for you. And that $50 billion generates another $50 billion next year. I mean, you're talking about not just generational wealth, you're talking about extraordinary, beyond the norm. And this was created by somebody who doesn't have a college degree. So there's so many examples of people that can achieve that essentially don't make any sense based on the way that you and I were trained, the way that you and I were taught, the way that you and I were mentored in our childhood by our schools, by our teachers, by our parents, by the elders in our lives. And I think what really happens there is we buy into the story. We buy into it and we give our power to these older people who are supposedly knowledgeable. Think about that. Think about how many of your parents would talk to you about relationship when their own relationship wasn't working. I remember watching my mother crying in the kitchen about how sad she was and how unhappy she was in her marriage with my dad. I remember my dad coming home after working all day and not wanting to talk to any of us, getting like a beer and his book and going into the other room and then shutting the door behind, basically saying, leave me alone. So these people in our lives, mom and dad, teachers, educators, coaches that are influencing us, often influence us in ways that don't work. Now, do they do it on purpose? No, of course not. Most people are good people. There's no way our parents woke up in the morning and thought to themselves, how can I crush so-and-so's spirit today? I've got this beautiful little 5-year-old and I want to absolutely crush her soul today. I want him to have no confidence by the end of today as a result of the negative feedback and criticism I'm going to give. There's no way they did that. They woke up and they said, I'm going to do the best I can today, or I'm going to be the best person I can be today. And I truly believe that people do the very best they can given what they know. And yes, you might have some examples of fathers and mothers who were absolutely not effective in their parenting and maybe weren't even qualified to be a parent. But we all know anybody can be a parent or bring a baby into the world. That doesn't mean you're qualified to raise them, doesn't mean you have the tools, doesn't mean you have the skills, doesn't mean you're living a life of integrity, a healthy life. But anybody can have a child. And so the point is, we bring our kids into this world and then we enculture them and we domesticate them and we train them. And most people, it's to the best of their ability. And then you and I are a product of whatever that is. Now, some of you might have had better parents than others, more effective coaching, more effective teaching, a more effective educational experience. And that's great. But here's the question to ask yourself right now, today. What is something you want that you don't have right now, that you've wanted for a long time? And when I say long time, I mean 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years. What is something you want? Write it in the chat right now that you've wanted for a long time, at least 6 months. Could be something in relationship, could be money, could be something with your family, healing the past, having a relationship with your mother and father that work. It could be your health, losing weight, having excellent health in your life. What is something you want that you don't have right now that if you had it would transform the quality of your life? Identify what that is. And the next question is, what's the story that you have made up about why you don't have it yet? Because I assert to you that if you don't have the result, then you have a story. And everybody has a story. I'm trying, I'm working for it. I need more time. I haven't started it yet. I don't know enough yet. I'm not smart enough. I'm not educated. I'm not worth it. I don't matter. If I'm being honest, which I absolutely am, I'm going to assert to you, most of the people that I come in contact with at the end of the day talk a big game, talk big dreams, but absolutely do not believe it's possible. If they absolutely believed it was possible, then they would commit themselves, lock themselves in to the action necessary to achieve it. Most of us talk about what we want, but we don't put ourselves into the commitment, into the urgency to actually create it. We're waiting for that moment, waiting for that inspiration, waiting for permission, waiting to have enough knowledge. Some people are actually saying to themselves, you know, I want to start my own business and I really want it to be successful. And I'm going to start my own business and make it successful as soon as I have enough money to make it work. The question is, when are you going to have enough money? And how long have you been telling yourself the story that as soon as I have the money, then I'll make the commitment? See, that's the story. You're in a scarcity conversation. You're operating in scarcity. That means that your lack of money, your lack of abundance, your lack of generating the financial power to leverage your life is stopping you from investing in what you say you want. When I ask you, what do you want? And what is something that you don't have in your life that if you had it right now would transform your life? I'm talking about an investment, not debt. Like if you just spend money and you're spending it on, let's call it survival needs, or you're spending money on short-term immediate gratification, then that's debt. And debt compounds. Have you ever noticed that debt compounds? But when you are invested, what you're doing is you're committing yourself to something that will spark or create the breakthrough, the opportunity, cultivate the crops so that you are acquiring the tools, the attitude, the ways of being, the actions, the strategy to achieve the results. There's absolutely no difference between you and that person that you think of when you think of an exceptional person. Someone that you think of when you go, this person is successful. I want to be like this person. Or I wish I could be like this person, or maybe someday I'll be like this person. There's absolutely no difference between you and that person, except they are invested in their gifts. They don't just know they have gifts. They don't just know conceptually that I have talent or I have gifts. They're invested in sharing the gifts. They're actually creating a life and a lifestyle wrapped around those gifts. And they're taking the action, the committed action every day, the intentional action, the focused action to move towards the manifestation of that vision, the manifestation of that result every day. Look, some of you might be spoiled rotten. In other words, you're a typical American. You want what you want and you want it now. When I think of a typical American, I think of the person that's waiting in line at McDonald's, the drive-through, and is mad that you have to wait in line. Think about people in other countries that will walk 20 miles with a bucket to get water, or walk and stand in a line for 3 or 4 or 5 days to get a cup of rice to feed their family. And yet we complain if we have to be in the drive-through takeout window at Starbucks because there's 10 cars in front of us. I mean, give me a break. Some of you are not willing yet, have not been willing yet to put on your overalls, to put on your hat, to put on some sunscreen and get out in the garden and tend the garden. Everybody wants beautiful flowers. Everybody wants ripe tomatoes. Everybody wants juicy, wonderful things, but we've got to till the soil. We've got to do the hard work. We got to do the heavy lifting. And for some of us, that heavy lifting is getting out of bed early, going to the gym, working out, eating healthy, putting together those 3 emails that Shanda was talking about, sending them out, being shameless in your commitment, shameless in your intention, and doing it every day. And so what I challenge each and every one of you to do is I challenge you to interrupt your need to be right about the stories that you're making up, that you're not worthy, that you're not good enough, that you can't do it, that you're not smart enough, that you don't have what it takes. Stop waiting and procrastinating and wake up and jump out of the bed today, tomorrow, and every day in your life. Make commitments that are stretchy commitments, that are risky commitments, but will support you in moving towards the manifestation of the vision and the results and what you say you want. Like, let's say you wake up tomorrow and you say, okay, I'm committed to creating a 10 relationship with my husband. Well, it doesn't mean you're going to have a 10 tomorrow, but can you move from a 5 to a 6? Can you move from a 5 to a 7? Is there something you could say like, I'm sorry, I apologize that often I want to be right and I don't get off of things, and I need to learn how to get off of things. So you can count on me to get off of it and stop being right and be more vulnerable, be more loving with you. Shannon talked to you guys about style flexing. Can you get off being right? Get off your need to be right and be vulnerable, be humble, practice humility. Might that open up a whole new level of intimacy in your marriage? See, it's that kind of thinking that leads to the transformation, that leads to the breakthroughs, that leads to the results. Some days you're going to wake up and you can cause exactly what you say today. Some days you're going to wake up and you're going to make that commitment, make that declaration, and you may not be able to fulfill the entirety of it today, but can you take a chunk out of it? Can you take a bite, the kind of bite and the step that will give you momentum and empower you and inspire you so you can use that momentum as inertia. So when you wake up the next day, you get up a little bit earlier because you're excited, and you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again. And pretty soon you're setting your alarm for 8 and you're up at 6. Why are you up at 6? Because you know that when you die, you're going to get all the sleep you need. And in the meantime, you're excited to be alive, and you can't wait to create the life that matters to you, a life worth living. So I challenge each and every one of you to commit yourself to the result and interrupt the story, to realize that the story is not you. The story is an excuse to invalidate you. The story is you putting your energy and time into something that undermines and sabotages your greatness. Put your energy into your greatness. Put your energy into your gifts each and every day. And if you work at that, it'll become more and more and more powerful, and you will have access to what it takes to create your dreams for the rest of your life. So it's a lifestyle change. It's an intention change. Okay? We are at our 21 minutes. Shanda, are you here?
I am.
I just got started. I could work with you guys all day long, but it's great to see you. Thank you.
So good. You can take the timer off. Awesome. So you guys, thank you, Michael. I love you. And I know it's 21 minutes and we made that declaration. You know why? Because people have commitment challenges. And the number one thing that I heard was I can do anything for 21 minutes. And it was actually Jennifer on our team that had the idea of going 21 minutes. And you know, it's powerful because this group has been staying together since the beginning. There hasn't been a big drop off. We got still a couple weeks to go and we're going to rock and roll. And Michael, we even talked about Michael slipping in like next week at some point to come in and take the conversation to the next level, because where you are today and where you will be next week is a different place. Thanks. You can pull Michael off. Okay, you guys, so we're going to wrap up this and then I'm going to move over to VIP. First, I want to share with you that somebody that Michael coached, who is also a very good friend of mine, he coached her leadership. Both her fiance and her went through our training, which is called Hardcore Leadership. And she was a promoter. So if you weren't here yesterday, you need to go watch what I trained yesterday, because it was a game changer, right? You guys say yes if it was a game changer yesterday. So literally, you guys who were here yesterday, where she's a promoter. So she's like, hey, what's up? She's just this doll. She's just this beautiful light that opens up the whole room. Do you know someone like that in your life? Well, her boyfriend at the time, they are now engaged, and they are just setting their date to get married now. He is an analyzer. And so the more excited she'd get about something, the more she felt like he was stealing her joy. Who's either the joy stealer, that somebody tells you steal their joy, or you have someone in your life like that it's like, it doesn't matter how excited you get about something, they ground the plane. You know, they ground the plane. You're like, oh, would you just please let me fly? And so they needed to learn how to talk to each other. So they went from the place of doing the work, being coached by Michael, and just do it. We have a training that's vision, breakthrough, practice, which is 3 levels. It takes 3 levels to get you to unleash. Anyway, long story short, they ended up being so right about my high energy is the way you should be. And, his analyzer was, you are 100% ungrounded. You're not really that smart. You're all of the critics that come in. You guys are analyzers. You keep whole checklists of everything everybody does wrong. And so they were at a crossroads, and the crossroads where they didn't have the skills to go through it. So they got the coaching, they worked it out, and then they made a decision to split. And I know this isn't a happy ending. They made a decision to split. They walked away for 3 months, and finally both of them gave up their need to be right. They came back together. They are now getting married. She had another moment not too long ago, about 6-7 months ago. This work never stops making you better, is what I'm trying to say. You keep getting more committed. And she let go of another moment of needing to be right. And she actually stood in front of him and completely completely saw him. She was in an edification. She was in her supporter. And she saw all the weight he had been carrying all these years and how she didn't make it any easier. Do you know that he completely broke down? He was bawling his eyes out for almost a week, and they healed their relationship. I just saw her the other day. She's like, I never knew a relationship could be this good. That's a promoter and an analyzer coming together and going from this is impossible to this is incredible. So I want to share this with you right now because there's an opportunity that if you want to take things deeper, I told you yesterday that we opened up an opportunity where we took our leadership training and we took it to 60% off. And so I want to take a moment and I just want to share this with you, and then I'm going to jump over to VIP. So just leave her, it's fine. So if you take Vision, which is a 3-day workshop, you take 3 days and imagine going through a workshop. You can do it virtually. We don't have any live this year. You do it virtually. And imagine like you are in an egg. I mean, when I did an infomercial, I realized how much of a bubble I live in. But imagine you're in an egg and you're cracking the egg and you get these like little cracks that come through and you can see, oh my God, there's a new possibility for my relationship. Oh my gosh, like I could make money in the next 6 hours, in the next 1 hour. Holy cow, I could live wherever I want to live. I don't feel afraid anymore. And it's like you can see this new vision. I'm going to tell you the number one thing that I get from my business owners, my corporate level people, is they've lost their vision. And they've lost their vision, which means they've lost their passion. And they're either in a state of confusion, a state of frustration, or a state of boredom. Who are you right now? Who are you? Go in the chat and let us know. And so when you go through vision, you get this new perspective on life, and everything is perspective, where you feel like, okay, I can see it now, which means if you can see it, you can lead it. If you keep fighting for your limitations, if you keep fighting for you don't have enough money, if you keep fighting for lack, if you keep fighting for the fact that your partner is just so much like this, if you keep fighting for that, you can't lead it. I mean, you are completely unsafe to lead at that point. Vision gets you where you can see it. Then you spend about 2 weeks off, a week to 2 weeks off, and you get back into life. Because have you ever done a personal development workshop or a spiritual workshop or a business workshop, a financial planning workshop, and then you get back into your life, you're like, I got all my stories still, and they're stronger than my commitment. So breakthrough takes those cracks and shatters them, completely shatters them. And so now you have the power, you have the passion, you have the power, you have the ability to follow through. For some of you guys, following through has been your challenge for a long time. You've been a great starter and a shitty finisher. I'm telling you, that is just a leadership challenge. It's not a you challenge. It's a leadership challenge. So after you get through breakthrough, you have power. It's 4 days. You got power. You face things that move. Those mountains move. Those stories move. When you're done that, we could stop there. That's good. In fact, the opportunity today for you to join HCL now, that opportunity is, you can put up the URL. That opportunity is just good there. Meaning that vision and breakthrough for me was right up there with having a child. It was the best decision I've made in my life. The best decision that I've made in my life. So after you get through vision breakthrough, we don't stop there, because I'm tired of people saying I've done things in the past and it hasn't worked. And so practice is 90 days where you go and you test the program. You say, we just had a woman just go from divorce to getting back together. I just had somebody else, 2 people who actually end up meeting each other in different in different HCL programs, but end up meeting each other. It's so funny when people go through this training, they're like, I can't be with anybody who doesn't do this training. You can lead people. You don't need them to do the training. It's awesome if they do, but the relationship changes because of you and you know how to lead it. So we had two people that were in our trainings, different trainings, and they both declared that they wanted to meet their forever partner. And we do in practice take you to a level of commitment. So one of them, her in practice, she declared she was going to meet her guy, her husband. And so she had to go on something like 80 dates. Who would be freaked out about that? 80 dates in 3 months. Well, if you want to find love, you should be willing to do whatever it takes, right? No different than if you want to make money. Oh my gosh, we see people make more money in 90 days than they do in a whole year. That's not an income claim. Not interested in getting sued or hurt. But I do have a success rate in this program that's 95% at this time. It's 95% of our students get the results. So you cannot use a story that says that I've done things in the past and they haven't worked. Well, you haven't done them with us in this program. Okay, so it's set up for you to win. So in practice, she's decided she was going to go on something like 80 dates. Well, she met her guy in between those 80 dates. You know what they're doing? They're finishing the 80 dates, or they actually finished it because she just graduated. They finished the 80 dates. In other words, she didn't say, I found my guy now, I'm good. No. That would be the perfect thing that your story would love to get a hold of your life and pull you back. They kept her word and they dated each other until she hit the 80 dates. So I want to say, what would it be like if you lived your life at that level? What do you think you could accomplish if you could trust yourself at that level? You could accomplish absolutely anything. So on joinhclnow.com, the program is a $5,000 program. We dropped it to $1997. So $1997. Or I also have a finance opportunity for you. If you want me to be your bank, I want you to crush your leadership so you can be other people's banks in the future. But if you want me to be your bank, there's also a 3-payment option on that URL now. So go to joinhclnow.com. We're there for you. The team's there for you to answer any questions. But this is what I want to share with you because I'm going to switch over to VIP. I'm going to tell the supporters to trust themselves. I'm going to say, don't ask for permission to jump in. Go enroll the people in your life that you feel like you really need their buy-in. And I want to get you strong enough that you just contribute to the family from a place of you're fully together and you're not depleted. If you're a controller, you probably already jumped to the joinhclnow.com and you enrolled because you're clear that you're committed and you drive things to results. Maybe you need to go into the Facebook group and you need to encourage other people to go after what they want, to figure out what they want to create and be a part of the team of lifting people up. Okay, because you already know. If you're in a situation where you don't have enough money, it's time to start valuing yourself. You could find the money. You can find the money. It's 1997. You can find the money or have a payment option, a 3-pay option that'll help finance you. If you're a promoter, you might jump on that link right now and then have remorse tomorrow. So just stay in this challenge and let me keep making you stronger and get into the first HCL that you can get into. Don't sit there and say, I'm waiting for the dates. That would be a controller that would say that. And that's a way that they keep themselves safe in not committing because they maybe committed to things in the past that they lost passion, drive, or couldn't solve the problem in front of you. Think of leadership as you're going to solve problems quickly. Okay, so there's lots of dates. There's lots of dates. So just enroll, figure out the dates. The dates are not a problem. We got lots of trainings that you can look at, okay? If you are an analyzer, you just need to know it's a 60% off. It's a 60% off deal. If you want to create more happiness, more joy, more excitement, you want to have more relationships and connection in your life, then just that alone is a great deal. Now I want you all to stop and go, what is it that is most important to you in your life that hasn't come to pass yet? What is it? If you were to create this result in your life right now, what would it be? What would be between now and the end of the year? What would be, holy cow, this year blew the memories off the books, blew my results off the books. This was my best year ever. What would that be? That's what you should go after in the leadership training and let it be up to us on whether it's possible or not. We've seen people create trademarks out of nothing. We've seen people birth businesses. We've seen people heal marriages. We've seen people, move to different countries. We've seen people heal entire families. We see that a lot. We see people heal entire families because they're the leader that stands up and says, this trauma is going to stop, or this poverty is going to stop and we're going to prosper, or you get it. I'm going to change the course of my family's life. So I don't know what your motivation is, but what I know is I am really thankful that I not only own this program now, but before I owned it, I did it. And it's what set the course for my entire life. That's why I'm so bullish on it. Everybody at Hardcore Business, Giselle, Suzanne, everybody at Hardcore Business goes through it. I pay their wages and have them go through the training. Why? Why would I pay them? Because they are very different people when they go through the training. Very different people. Some of them leave me because they want to go do something else. I'm cool with that because my heart's clean. Others propel so high up, and they're the backbone behind you guys here at Hardcore, and they're the reason why the wheels stay on the company. Wouldn't it be nice to depend on yourself and the other people in your life because they can lead? Wouldn't it be great to not have to do everything on your own controllers because you got other people around you? You know how to stop being the hub to your life and controlling everything so that other people can actually help you. Create some space for them to come in. So go to joinhclnow.com. If you have any questions, there's people on the chat that you can ask some questions to, but I'm just going to say trust yourself and jump in. It's the smartest thing that you could do. All right, you guys, I'll see you tomorrow. I have my friend Dan Fleischman tomorrow. If you don't know who Dan is, he is, this guy, I feel like I could say Dan is like the Midas touch. Everything he touches turns to gold. And he is incredible around wealth building. So we're going to have him talk about that, but he's really good at leadership. Let me share something with you as I flip over to VIP. Dan sold his car. Why? Because it's so inefficient to have a car. He would rather work in the back of an Uber. So he doesn't even have a driver. In the back of an Uber, he's worked out the finances, and it makes more sense for him to have an Uber than to drive. And I can tell you right there, the minute I heard that, I was like, wow, I wonder if I should do that. But I never took action on it. Why? Because I never caught a vision for it. Do you see how everything's leadership? You got to be around smart people like Dan to be able to start to create new visions. And sometimes you need to hear it a couple times before you're willing to jump in. So I'm going to encourage you, jump into joinhclnow.com. Be here tomorrow. Dan's going to train tomorrow. And I hope you have a great night tonight. All right, you guys.